What's up, y'all? It's Trey, and I want to thank y'all for tuning into another episode of the 3829 podcast. If you ain't new, then you should know the deal. Before we even get started, go ahead and hit that like, follow, and subscribe. And since you already subscribed, go ahead and hit them post notifications. And you know the deal. If by the end of the video you don't like the content, you can go ahead and undo all of those. But before we get into it, I'm here with another one of my special co-hosts. Y'all have not met him yet. Here with my man Ice, but I'm gonna go ahead and let him tell y'all a little bit about himself.
All right. What's going on, nephews? I'm Isaac. You know what I'm saying? I haven't been on the first 3 episodes. I apologize for that. But I am here now. So go ahead, let's get acquainted.
All right, now, man, it seemed like every time we is ready to start an episode of the pod, man, we get some news. So before we even could, start this episode, it came to my attention that the Cavs and the Bulls have a trade to announce. on some OG 2K, you feel me? But Lonzo to the Cavs, Okoro to the Bulls. I think that this is a good move for the Cavs. One reason I say that is because in the first series of the playoffs, obviously they ended up winning the series, but one issue that we did see from them was Darius Garland's ability to play defense. You get what I'm saying? We definitely saw that he was a liability on the defensive side of the ball, and we know that Lonzo Ball is definitely a good defender at the point guard position, and he's a larger guy, So when he comes into the game, it's not like you lose much because one, he does, create a lot. He's not gonna give you as much scoring and as much explosiveness as a Darius Garland will, but he will, cover up on the defensive side what Darius Garland lacks. And like I said, he's a very creative passer. We know him as a very amazing playmaker. What are your thoughts on this trade, Ice?
So it's definitely an interesting trade, right? Because Lonzo, he hasn't played consistently in over 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
Still dealing with that meniscus tear. And obviously we know his ability, right? And that's what this trade is about. It's about more or less the potential of him staying healthy and helping out. You know what I'm saying on the with the guard play, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, Interestingly enough, even though I do kind of like this trade for Cleveland, I I'm a bit puzzled because the problem for the Cavs wasn't necessarily all the times the guard play, right? Yes, the
Mm-hmm.
bench did need a little bit of upgrade from the guard position, but mainly where they struggled was at the wing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the wings, sometimes they just let's go back to that Pacer series, right? They just simply, didn't really show up
No,
like they needed
definitely.
to.
And I mean, if we're being honest, if you look at the Cleveland Cavaliers, the one weak spot that you can note on that squad is the wing position. Outside of having Donovan Mitchell as one of your wing players, yeah, that's a major weakness for them. But what were you saying? I didn't mean to cut you off. I just wanted to.
Nah, it's all good. It's just they did not show up, right?
Mm-hmm.
Plain and simple to put it like that, right? Um, you would see, you know, the matchup nightmares occur when, the Pacers, they would start setting those screens, right? And, one thing you notice also, though they're a young team, they can't, uh, they seem to not be able to really keep up when it comes to
Mm-hmm.
fast-paced basketball, right?
Mm-hmm.
And which is actually interesting, right? Because they're relatively young, right?
Exactly.
Um, yes, injuries did hurt, but That's why this is kind of puzzling, right? Again, because Lonzo is injury prone, and so do you pick up another injury prone player to add to a team that has injuries? You know,
Exactly.
um,
Well, one thing I thought about when I saw this trade, obviously what I had mentioned earlier was the aspect of, if they, um, going forward, let's say that Darius Garland is still the starter on that squad. Not saying that Lonzo is taking the starting position at all, but let's say going forward into next season, Darius Garland is still the starting point guard on that squad. He would help him on the defensive end, but at the following the end of the Cleveland Cavaliers season ending, I had heard some chatter of possibility of Darius Garland or Jarrett Allen being expendable, and seeing that Lonzo Ball was picked up, I think that maybe they're trying to cushion the blow, or giving themselves a little bit more wiggle room with, if they do look to trade Darius Garland, they don't necessarily have to try to get a guard of the same caliber. They can go kind of look at another position. Now, like I said, I don't think that right now they necessarily trust Lonzo Ball to be their full-time starting point guard, because like you said, he has had some recent injury history, and he hasn't been playing consistently for the past 2 years. So I don't think that you put full faith into him. Not saying that his abilities don't warrant it, but sadly, with his injury history, I don't think that that's somebody that you can put your full trust in at this current moment.
no, no, not at all, right? And I like Lonzo. Uh, you know what I'm saying? I was, one of those people that didn't want to hate on him when he got drafted, right? He did start off kind of slow.
No, definitely.
Uh,
We watched him since he was in high school.
right. And one thing I like about him is like, his ability to just go out there and make winning plays, right?
Hmm.
Now, I know, people may be like, well, he hasn't really won, right? But keep in mind, right? Um, so a lot of things he does on the court is intangibles, right? So it may not show up in the stat sheet, but you can see it when you watch the games, right? So
Exactly,
him
100%.
playing defense, right? Him making the right pass, not just passing to get an assist, but actually making the right pass to keep the offense flowing, right? That's
100%.
something the Cavs did not have, right? They had two ball stoppers, right? And Darius Garland and Donovan Mitchell. And we've seen that before, right? With Dame and CJ. Uh I'm trying to think what was the other examples back a while ago. Um Brandon Jennings, Monte Ellis, right?
Hmm.
We've seen that before, and I think the Cavs, though they were the number one seed last year, I think they're also starting to see that. Also with Tyrese leading the Pacers to the finals, uh, Lonzo, you know what I'm saying, them picking up Lonzo may be a sign that, hey, well, maybe we're trying to get a pass first point guard, right?
Hmm.
That knows how to, lead a team and set his teammates up. And that could be the overall direction they're going, right? Like if what you're saying, is true, right? If the sources say Garland is probably going to be moved, which I'm not sure if that's a good idea or not.
Hmm.
But I mean, I've been wrong before, right? When it comes to these things, right? Trades happening. Uh but overall, yeah, this is an interesting trade, right? The Cavs still, like I said, they need more at the wing position. And
Hmm.
I can't remember who they drafted this year.
I
But
couldn't tell you either. I'm gonna be 100% honest with you.
yeah, that draft was on way too late.
That,
I admit it.
and I
I
mean,
can,
I don't. I mean, obviously, it wasn't every. player picked, but I feel like um we're gonna see a lot of the top or higher draft picks not pan out strictly because of NIL, and I kind of spoke on this last year. But when you get paid at such an early age, you're gonna let your foot off the gas. You get what I'm saying? So not only are these kids starting to let, like, they could be potentially starting to let their foot off the gas in college. So I feel like we're gonna see a lot of more kids not pan out. And I'm not saying it's gonna be everybody, but I feel like a lot of, I mean, it's heard that a lot of players do take their foot off the gas once they make it to the NBA. They feel like they've made it. So I feel like with this new NIL era, I feel like that's something that we're gonna see a little bit more of. But
Right.
let's go ahead and transition. I did want to talk about something that we heard a few times mentioned during the course of the playoffs, which was a USA versus World All-Star game. Now, before we even get too deep into it, what do you think about the possibility of a USA versus World All-Star game? Do you think that it would be something nice to watch? Do you think that the All-Star game is just too far gone at this point? Do you think that the All-Star game is something that still could be relevant in the future, but this isn't the way to get it back to where it needs to be? Well, what is your thoughts on it?
Okay. So a few things, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, Back in the day, right? And this was like, 90s, early 2000s, right? You could even say in 2010, right?
Mm-hmm.
All-star games, meant something to the players back then, right?
No, exactly.
But nowadays, all-stars, the only thing they mean for the players today is pretty much just another notch under your belt to get a bigger contract, to get more money, to
No,
be
exactly.
eligible, right?
Just a little bit bigger of a check.
Right. And so with that, it's like the all-star game is only as good as how, let me rephrase that. The all-star game can only be good if the players care enough to want to win.
No, exactly.
If they care enough, right? Nobody wants to watch y'all play a glorified pickup game for 43 minutes, and then the
Mm-hmm.
last 5 minutes y'all want to act like y'all competitive,
Exactly.
right?
Um,
Don't
I
don't
think the
get me wrong.
best, or no, what were we saying?
Like, don't get me wrong, right? I understand these guys are the best players in the world. The game is evolving, right? So you're gonna see higher scores
Mm-hmm.
in the All Star game. It's just a given, right? But as far as the USA versus world
Mm-hmm.
concept, it's something that I believe, did they not try that with the rookies versus sophomores
They did. They did.
some years back? Yeah, and I mean, it sounds good, but statistically, right? The NBA is what, 70% U.S. players, 30% world. So realistically, that's not statistically speaking, rather, that's not a fair pool, right? And then it's like, well, what if there's more in the Western Conference than there are the Eastern Conference? And
Mm-hmm.
like, do we want to pick players based off of that? But at the same time, right? Of the top five players in the NBA, at least three of them, it maybe even four, are in the top five, right?
True. Now, me personally, um, I don't think that this is gonna be, um, I don't think that this is the way to make the All Star game great again. I don't. Yes, we do have some, European guys that are, doing their thing, and some guys that are, like you said, you could argue that three out of the top five guys in the league today are European. You get what I'm saying? Are, you know, from would be part of the world team and not part of the USA team. But outside of that, I feel like it gets pretty bleak. You get what I'm saying? I feel like, at the top the gap is pretty close, but then when we get to the mid tier, to like it's like, okay, show the 10th best American versus the 10th best world guy. That's where the separation shows. You get what I'm saying? Show the 25th best American versus the 25th best world guy. That's when the separation shows. You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Now, me personally, I feel like we should go back to a format that we kind of seen, RIP Kobe, but after Kobe's passing. Now, obviously, there was a little bit more meaning behind that one because it was following the passing of Kobe, and they made that All-Star game to kind of just remember him and honor him. So the players came out there, and it meant a little bit more to them in that moment. But I feel like that was a good format. I feel like it was something different, and I feel like it was fun. And I feel like the players would, if that format was brought back, I feel like the players would try. I feel like it could be something interesting, and I definitely think that that's something that should be explored. Now, we kind of gave just our little 2 cents on it, but I did do a little bit of research. I asked AI, I looked at what the voting was from last year, and I compiled a list of what a hypothetical USA versus world team could look like, and then I put a list of who wouldn't have made it from Team USA that still possibly could have made it, but guys that aren't on the list, that as to why I believe that isn't going necessarily be a good thing. But on the Team USA side, we're looking at guys like Cade, LeBron, Embiid, and not saying that Embiid is the highest guy, but this is just guys that could make the team. So Cade, LeBron, Embiid, KD, AD, LaMelo, Steph, Spider Mitchell, Brunson, Paolo, Tyler Hero, and Anthony Edwards. That's 12 that, let's just say that that's the Team USA team, right? Now let's go to the world team. We're looking at Giannis, Jokic, Shea, Wemby, Luka, Kat, Shingun, Anthony Wiggins, Sabonis, Franz Wagner, Pascal Siakam, and Jamal Murray. Now, I even before I even talk about why I think the world team will lose based on that list, let's talk about who didn't make the team for the Team USA. D Book's not on that squad. Kawhi Leonard is not on that squad. Evan Mobley is not on that squad. J Dub is not on that squad. Chet is not on that squad. Jaylen Brown is not on that squad. Trae Young is not on that squad. Ja Morant is not on that squad. Scotty Barnes is not on that squad. You get what I'm saying? So it's plenty of guys that can qualify for that or could possibly qualify for the Team USA. These are all guys that have been all-stars before, or if not, have definitely have the potential to be an all-star in the future. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, it was on there.
Yeah. He was the last guy I named when I was listing the Team USA at first.
Okay. To make
But
sure.
all these guys aren't even making the list, and you're telling me somebody like Anthony Wiggins and Jamal Murray is making a team for you? Nothing against Jamal Murray. Jamal Murray is a hooper. But if we talking S tier, A tier, B tier, Jamal Murray's more of a, B tier type of player. Because let's say S tier is like the top of the top, A tier is all-star. Jamal Murray really falls in that B tier. Don't get me wrong. He's a great starter. He's a great guy that can go out there and get you 20. But at the end of the day, is Jamal Murray going to lead a team? I don't believe Jamal Murray will ever be able to lead a team. And that's nothing against Jamal Murray. It's just I don't feel like he's properly suited to lead a team. You get what I'm saying? But you got guys like J-Dub. I feel like J-Dub has shown that if he has to, he could be a leader on the team, and if he has to, he could be a leader on a playoff team. And I'm not talking about the Thunder because they were a playoff team. I feel like you put him in the right situation, he can lead a playoff team. I don't feel like if Jamal Murray's put in the right situation, he's going to lead a playoff team. At least not past the first round. That's in my personal opinion. You get what I'm saying?
All right. Now, I did want to pivot, right? Because people have thrown out some ideas, right? More fan ideas and whatnot. Um, just real quick, right? What do
Hmm.
you think about like tournaments, right? For the All Star, like 1v1, 3v3. You know what I'm saying? Just different stuff like that. Do you think
Listen, we need a
that?
1v1 tournament just to finally settle who's the face of the league. We need that. And you know what else we need? You know what else we need that would make the All-Star game 10 times better? Bring back where the guys participating in the All-Star game were they teams home and road jersey. Bring that back, bro. Don't know. I'm sorry, the All-Star game jerseys is not all that. They have never been heat. I'm sorry, they've never really been that good. Can we be honest on that?
I mean, there were some years where they looked good, but that was more so when they had the simple designs, right?
No, them things
Whenever
never
they
look
try to
good.
do no, okay, so some of those jerseys, like say the 2010 All Star jersey,
Okay. Let me say this.
yeah.
Ever since I forgot what year it was, I want to say it was in New York. I mean, in New Orleans, just because of their jersey design, and they had the sleeves. Kobe was in the All Star game. Ever since then, boo boo, been straight downhill since then. Straight
Yeah, I
downhill.
sleeves. I'll be honest, I did not like that.
No, for real. They had sleeves on the All Star game jerseys. Just let these men wear their regular team jerseys.
That's a thought. Yeah, they used to do that in the rookie sophomore game too.
No, for real. That's clean. Cause didn't they do that the year that Kyrie had broke off Brandon Knight?
Yeah. That was a classic rookie sophomore game. That was a classic.
Hey, all I'm saying is I don't think Jamal Tinsley getting nobody like that. I don't think Jamal Tinsley worked quite like that.
Nah, just playing. But you know what? Speaking of T Mac, Matt, you heard what he said when he was talking about if he was with Shaq, he would have won the championship too, man.
Bro, T Mac just been talking out the side of his neck recently. Somebody need to put T Mac in the house, bro. T Mac need to go inside. Shout out. Listen, hey, hot take. If KD didn't go to the Warriors, he would be T Mac.
I mean, based off mentality, it's probably accurate,
If
right?
KD didn't
Because
go to the Warriors, he would be T Mac.
when when he was asked, right, they said he said, "Man, I just want to hoop." Right?
Mm-hmm.
There was no, "I want to be a leader. I'm going to lead a team." Right? Is I want to hoop,
Mm-hmm.
and I mean, technically, there's nothing wrong with it, right?
Yeah.
But we can't discuss you in GOAT conversations if that's your mentality to the game, right?
Yeah. Honestly, where I'm at now, and you can call me a hater, but I just personally feel like KD like don't belong in a top 15, don't belong in the top 20.
Mhm. I don't know, man.
Bro, bro.
425, that ain't no
I
easy
hear
task.
what you're saying. I hear what you're saying. I hear what you're saying. I hear what you're saying.
Mhm.
But at the same time, Uncle, like realistically, the Warriors
Right.
did not need Kevin Durant. Yes, they had just lost. Yes, they had just lost in the finals, but they were literally a single game away from winning that championship. You get what I'm saying?
And I understand that, but
Uncle, nah, uh,
I,
nah,
I don't
bro.
know, man. You got it. 20 players better than KD. 20.
All time?
I don't know
No,
if I
no,
can
I'm
give you
not
that
talking current. I'm talking all time.
all time.
Yeah.
Man, you gonna have to give me that list because I can't see it, dog.
Dog.
20
Okay.
players better than
Okay.
KD all
First of
time.
all,
I
first of
can't
all,
see.
first of all, first of all. So we know
We
we
know
got
the
Kobe number one. We know we got Kobe number one. Shout out Kobe. We know we got Kobe number 1. We got MJ.
Right.
We got LBJ.
Mhm.
We got Shaq. We got Wilt. We got Magic. We got Steph.
Okay.
We got Kawhi.
In no order.
No, that's not
Not, not,
in a specific order. But Kawhi is better than him. I got KG. I got Tim Duncan. I mean, shit. Westbrook better than him, bro.
all right, we ain't gonna go that far.
No,
But
no, no. Westbrook is better than KD all time, bro. Four triple double seasons, bro. This man played less than half a season on the Wizards and leads them all time in triple doubles, bro. You trying to tell me this man ain't better than KD?
yeah, but
Bro, no,
oh,
no.
oh,
Westbrook is better than KD. And you want to know the difference between Westbrook? Westbrook can actually contribute to winning basketball. He don't have to hop on somebody's coattails. And I know what everybody said about him with the Lakers and all that, but when he was playing with the Clippers, the narrative was Westbrook got benched. No, Westbrook went to Ty Lue and said, I'll come off the bench so Harden can start when Harden came over. You go what I'm saying? That's the type of things that Westbrook does behind closed doors. Westbrook is a great basketball player, a great teammate.
learn.
It just is never talked about.
Right.
KD is not.
I have to learn that. Right. I mean, with Kevin Durant, he's always forced into that number one option. Right. Even if he doesn't want to be, you know what I'm saying? It just happens for him. Right.
Exactly. But the thing is, everybody else in that top 20 all time was the number 1 option. You get what I'm saying? They was forced in that position, and they ain't cry about it. They produced. They
Right.
won. You get what I'm saying? I don't think that imagine KD never went to the Warriors, never got those rings. I I don't want to say is he still a Hall of Famer because he does have 30,000. Like you said, he does have 30,000. But like I said, without those rings, I feel like more people agree with me on him not being a top 20. You get what I'm saying? I feel like more people look at KD like a Carmelo
Right.
Anthony. You get what I'm saying? And it's nothing to shade Melo, but you get what I'm saying? It's just like, okay, he was a bucket, but was he a winner? You get what I'm saying? Carmelo Anthony is never going to be looked at as a top 15, top 20 all-time player. You get what I'm saying?
Now, I will say this, right? And I'm not trying to defend Kevin Durant or anything like that, but um, as much as you know him joining the Warriors, right? We look at it and we say, "Oh, that was a soft move," and everything like that. It still did take him work to have to actually swallow his ego and swallow his pride to actually be on that team and contribute to winning basketball. If that makes sense, right?
It's clear that he wasn't able to do it for long. Because,
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
yeah, and yeah, he should have never
He
left.
should have
Like
never went there, bro. And that's another thing. That's the thing. Like everything about Kevin Durant just says weak, bro. Listen, you won't go to a team unless you got 2 other superstars there. The Nets, the Suns. You know what I'm saying?
which, to be fair, the Nets did have a good shot at winning. Let's be real, right? We was a toe away. We was a toe on the 3-point line away from Kevin Durant and the Brooklyn Nets advancing.
Listen. That's what you call payback from this man doing a whole ballerina dance out of bounds, and them not calling it back in the day when he was on the Warriors. This man was 17 feet out of bounds, and they ain't call that shit.
See, you the reason he had minutes on Twitter, all right?
Nah,
It's your
listen. KD. My
No,
IG
but
right here, bro. I don't need the burner, KD. My IG right here. What you gotta say, bro?
not in all seriousness, that Nets team was actually, you know what I'm saying, pretty close. Harden goes down, Kyrie goes down in the middle of that Bucks series. Um, you know what I'm saying? Like we talk about the fact that he's not been able to win, but that was, one of those moments. I get it. He did not get the job done, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, at the end of the day, if you don't get the job done, you just simply don't get the job done, right?
No, exactly. Like we can talk
I know.
what if, but like at the same time, as much as I want to say, if Tyrese Haliburton was in that game, at the end of the day, he wasn't in that game. You get what I'm saying? And it was left up to the other guys, and the other guys, well, not all of the other guys, but some of the other guys left them short. You get what I'm saying? Obi Toppin left him short. You get what I'm saying? Miles Turner left him short. I ain't gonna keep throwing guys under the bus. Listen, first of all, timeout. Give me 1 second, y'all, cause I gotta show y'all something. Speaking on Miles Turner, cause I was gonna address this last episode, and I ain't addressed this last episode, so I'm gonna address this episode. Give me 1 second, y'all. I'm gonna be right back. All right, we back, y'all. Now I just had to go grab something, cause I want to show y'all something for context purposes. Now I know we talking about Miles Turner, but can't go an episode without saying it. Wishing Tyrese Haliburton a speedy recovery. This was made during the second round of the playoffs. The game that we came back, it was during the game. I didn't predict it. It was during the game. Got another one. Hold on. Shout out Andrew Nimhard, man. Shout out Andrew Nimhard. This was made at the same time. And then lastly, the reason I went and got up and got these, man. Miles Turner. Now I got a story for y'all to do with Miles Turner, okay? So this was a few years ago. I'm still in high school at the time. I'm at a Pacer game, right? And I have no idea. Shout out my pops. He let me know. He's the reason that I'm able to tell this story today, because without him, I would have had no knowledge. Okay? But I'm at the Pacer game, and I'm talking cash money smack. And I'm not talking to the opposing team. I'm talking to Miles Turner. Because, boy, for the longest time, I could not stand Miles Turner. Right? But obviously, for me to have painted this, right? I was clearly very proud of Miles Turner. To make a long story short, I was sitting behind Miles Turner's parents at that game. And I knew during that time when I was making this, making the painting, that I was going to start this podcast. And I had every intention on apologizing to Miles Turner and his parents. I have no intention on apologizing anymore. You owe me an apology. Okay? You owe me a damn apology. But like I said, man, we'll get back to what we was talking about, man. Like you said, man, I just wanted to prove a point that, we always got the woulda, coulda, shoulda, but at the end of the day, fact is fact. What happened. And what happened was Miles Turner did not show up. Obi Toppin did not show up.
T-Mac, you tripping. You ain't winning them rings, though.
Facts.
Give up on it.
Coulda, woulda, shoulda. Yeah. If you coulda, then you woulda, and you shoulda. Okay?
You ain't winning them rings, dog. But yeah, let's we train.
No, exactly. Since we was talking about the Pacers a little bit, let's talk about one of them teams that they eliminated. It's basically tradition at this point, us getting this team out of there. And I'm talking about them New York Knickerbockers.
Haliburton is the king of New York.
No, exactly. Now, basically, as soon as Hallie put that belt to that behind for the second consecutive year in a row, the Knicks put the belt to the behind of Tom Thibodeau and told him, "Sir, it is time for you to go. It is time for you to get to stepping." Do you think that he deserved it?
come back no more, no
No
more,
more,
no
no
more.
more, no more. Do you
Um,
think Tibbs deserved the axe?
honestly, though I can kind of understand the decision. Uh, they acted a little too hastily and a little too premature. Um, we are talking about a Knicks team that has not been in the conference finals in 25 years. Which, by the way, the Pacers handed them that belt 25 years ago as well.
It's
We ain't
tradition, bro. It's tradition. See y'all in
we
another
ain't-
quarter century.
but like I was saying, they acted kind of too hastily, right?
hmm
Because one thing about Tibbs, right? Um, the players that are on the Knicks roster currently, right? Most of them have ties to Tibbs. They like Tibbs, right? Tibbs is the one that, you know what I'm saying, kind of orchestrated this roster, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And so he's, you know what I'm saying, he's pretty good defensively. I think, he just needed, maybe some more assistance, helping him out with offense, schemes, rotations a little bit, right? Because one of the reasons he got fired, right? Because we saw in the Pacers series, right? He wanted to do his usual, right? Play
hmm
6, 7 guys for the whole game. Nobody else gets in. He's going to dictate and control everything, right?
I mean, no, seriously. Like, I mean,
Oh,
outside
yeah.
of Brunson, Cat, Bridges, Anthony, I mean, not Anthony, Ananobi, Mitchell Robinson, and Josh Hart. Who else? Like, can you think of another guy on the Knicks, really?
Right. You didn't even you guys didn't even know Landry Shamet can hoop, did you?
I didn't even know
You
he was on the team.
yeah. Look, man, they got guys on there. Shoot. Deuce McBride. Boy, you be
Deuce
like,
Mc...
who the hell?
No, for
You didn't
real.
even know he could, did you?
Looking like somebody's
Shoot.
little cousin out there.
Um, but yeah, I mean, Tibbs is a quality coach. It's just his style, right, is a little outdated, right?
hmm
We've seen it with Chicago where Derrick Rose gets injured in a game where he should not have even been playing
hmm
anymore, right? And it was the playoffs. In fact, I'm still frustrated about that one. You gotta excuse me.
PTSD.
Um, yeah, but we've seen it everywhere he goes where he likes to dictate, control, right? Every little aspect of the game, right?
hmm
The new NBA is a little more free flowing, right? It's not like there's still sets in the NBA, right? I'm not saying there's no sets, right? But usually the best offenses are the ones that are most unpredictable, right? The
hmm
days of the two-headed monster are they're kind of going away and it's going more towards, well, we need a guy that facilitates, gets the ball moving around, right? Shooting three. Boston shoots threes at a high volume.
I mean, can you
Uh,
really say that the two-headed monster's not around anymore? Well, we kind of just seen a two-headed monster just win the championship.
but how much of a two-headed monster is that really? Right?
You're
Yes, those
true.
guys can throw the ball at least 60 to 70%. But those guys still, you know what I'm saying, get the ball around
hmm
to shooters. Like I was saying, like a little bit kind of like, I don't want to say the Dan Tony Rockets, but it looks a little similar,
hmm
right? And so with that, but I mean, yeah, let's go back to Tibbs, right? His whole identity, point guard. dominating the ball, controlling it, right up to the last second. Um, I mean, it's fine if it works, but when it doesn't, it doesn't. And boy, did did that play style get exposed in
No,
that
exactly.
NBA.
For me, I do think that Tibbs should have, got the axe personally, just because when you have guys like Michael Bridges, who did play about 40 minutes a game in that Eastern Conference Finals, saying, I'm tired, I can't take it, pretty much, and that's not a knock on Michael Bridges, but he was pretty much saying, it's a lot on my body. I don't think that's him, saying he's a weak person at all. I think that's him saying, I do this every day. I'm giving you 40 minutes a game. And this was a quote from the regular season, not from the Eastern Conference Finals. But if this was something that he was feeling during the regular season, then imagine how he feels during the Eastern Conference Finals. And Michael Bridges, he hooped for them. You get what I'm saying? OG Anunoby hooped for them. But I feel like along with Tibbs being fired, I mean, we can give it one more year and see what it looks like with a new coach. But I feel like another big issue that the Knicks have to address is that Karl Anthony Towns and Jalen Brunson could not be on the floor together. You get what I'm saying? I feel like in the meaning we seen more meaningful play from Josh Hart, Mitchell Robinson, OG Anunoby, and Michael Bridges than we were able to see for Cat and from Jalen Brunson. It was like you're getting Cat or you're getting Jalen Brunson. So like, you get what I'm saying? It's not a dual attack. It's either you're getting one or the other, one or the other, one or the other. And most of the time, if Cat's going off, Jalen Brunson isn't even on the floor. You get what I'm saying? If Jalen Brunson's going off, Cat is not even on the floor. So that's the issue that they definitely have to address, especially if these are going to be your two guys going forward.
No, most definitely, right? Um, their defensive rating when both of those guys on the floor was atrocious, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just absolutely atrocious. Um, you got Towns out there just doing silly stuff on defense, right? He's grabbing the guy unnecessary. Just all types of dumb things and dumb mistakes on the floor where it's like,
Uncalled for.
man, is this guy even focused?
No,
Right.
exactly.
So that's an issue. Jalen Brunson, right, being boneheaded in the final minutes of close games, right? You hear Josh Hart out there, after Jalen Brunson forces up a shot, saying why, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so, the Knicks are a very talented team, right? Like you said,
Definitely.
OG, McHale, right? I gotta say this, OG Anunoby is just so good for the Knicks. Um, I feel like he don't get enough credit because there are times in games where he just comes in clutch,
No, exactly. Him
right?
and Mike Hill. Him and Mike Hill. Them was two
And,
hard guys to stop. But honestly,
and so
hmm
I'm gonna turn it over to you in a second. And but yes, it's like if the primary ball handler, right, is not good at making good decisions, right?
hmm
Jalen Brunson is indeed good enough to get a team to the playoffs by himself, right? I'm not saying nothing, can't question the brother's talent, work ethic, scoring ability, cannot, right? But what was exposed was his ability to make the right decision on the court.
hmm
And if your primary ball handler can't make good decisions, I don't care how good his scoring ability is, you will not win basketball games. And same goes for your center, right? If he's that's your star center, one of your primary scorers, and he can't get on the same page with the team. He can't lock in defensively and handle his assignment. You're going to struggle, right? And I mean, last but not least, Mitchell. I mean, they do have guys that cover up some of their defensive flaws, but at the end of the day, your star players are playing 40 plus minutes a night. You got to address those issues.
Exactly. And I feel like
Yeah,
the biggest issue was, I one thing I will say, I did say, like I said, I think that Coach Tibbs should have been fired, but I do think that he was kind of unfairly fired. I feel like in that evaluation of Tibbs, I feel like they were comparing him to Rick Carlisle, which
right.
one
That's
you exactly. One, you knew that you're playing the Pacers, so there should have been some scheme adjustments. There should have been, a lot more reliance on all the guys throughout the series. Because we definitely did see it earlier in the series. Like you said, we seen Landry Shamet have some big games. We seen Deuce McBride, have some big plays. Get what I'm saying? But they went away from that. When their backs got to the wall, they went away from that. And that was the issue. But the issue is, at the end of the day, you're not gonna. I don't feel like you're gonna outcoach Rick Carlisle unless it's Game 4 of the NBA Finals and you're playing against Scott Foster. Then I don't know. I think Rick was watching that game. He forgot that he had the challenges. Thought I don't know what was going on, but
league on all, baby.
shout out B Titty. Shout out B Titty. NBA stand for Niggas Betting Association.
Mm. But no, so I'll actually, pivot into some of the coaches the Knicks are interested in, right?
Mm-hmm.
Interesting enough, Don Staley was a coach they reached out to, right? For South Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm. They reached out to her for coaching interest. Turns out, if she does accept a head coaching position in the NBA or the WNBA, that does not breach her new contract, right? So that's interesting, right? But other names more notable and are probably more likely to get the position. Uh, you got James Rego, Mike Brown, Micah Nori, and Taylor Jenkins, right?
Mm-hmm.
With the favorite, according to betting sites, ironically, being James Rego.
Man, I'm surprised that Mike Malone ain't in that list. Just because
Yeah.
obviously we know he has championship experience. We know he can coach a team to a championship. And another thing I will say about Tibbs was he had a losing playoff record, and yeah, he did get him to the Eastern Conference Finals for the first time in 25 years. But I mean, how long Coach Tibbs been a part of the NBA? One thing I was saying at the beginning of the season is we need to get in a new generation of head coaches. Now, not all at once, but I do think that it is time for a new generation of coaches. I mean, the game's changed. We shouldn't have coaches that have been running the same sets from, back in the day. We need to expand and, in every aspect. And, like nothing against Greg Popovich. Shout out Greg Popovich. Sadly, he did have to step down from the position. But like when Wemby first came into the league, I was thinking like, why is Greg Popovich coaching Wemby? You get what I'm saying? This is the third generation now. Why are we still on this? But whoever the Knicks end up picking as head coach, I don't think that, like I said, I don't think it solves all of their problems. I think that they still have more questions to answer. But I think that the coach will be a big part of it. Like we know coaches gonna set the tone, they're gonna set the culture, they're gonna set pretty much what gonna go in the locker room. They gonna, set what the vibe is. Like obviously we look at when we think of the Pacers, we look at Tyrese Haliburton and talk about his pace, but that is Coach Carlisle's game planning. You get what I'm saying?
Right. Right. And I mean, just to kind of touch on that a little bit, right? Earlier when I talked about um NBA going more in a free flowing direction,
Mm-hmm.
I was kind of alluding to the Pacers and how they play, and their style is like it's like a beautiful chaos, right?
Mm-hmm.
To to describe it, right? Where it's like, yeah, they have sets and they have ideas, right? But when it comes to offense, they kind of just go with the flow, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, a lot of that is credit to Tyrese Haliburton, right? Because you really can't play that style of basketball if you don't have a player like him.
Mm-hmm.
So that's probably one thing, right? But another thing is Rick. Now he still has some old head ways. Don't get me wrong, right? Because I've seen it. But for the most part, Rick is learning that sometimes the players, all you really have to do is put them in a position to where they can do better, and they'll take it from there, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's something you see him learning. And so, with that being said, right? I mean, Mike Brown, old school coach, right? Probably not going to be a more free flowing uh,
Mm-hmm.
coach. Uh, James Borrego, I mean, what he's with Charlotte right now.
Yeah.
Um, we kind of see how that's going. I mean, hey, good luck to the Knicks, right? I mean, they tried to reach out to guys like Kidd, um, who were the other? I forget the other assistant coaches. They were trying to reach out to get, but they did try to go after those guys first. It didn't work,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I would shut them down too. But also, the Knicks coaching job is just a tough job in general, right? It's New York, right?
Yeah.
Anytime you take over a new coaching job for a place like New York, Philly, LA, Boston, it's always tough, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because it's like people there just expect so much. And I mean, sometimes there's only so much you can do,
Mm-hmm.
right? But I mean, uh good luck to whoever takes this coaching position.
No,
You're gonna need
100%. All right, y'all. Thank y'all for tuning into another episode of the 3829 podcast. I hope that y'all enjoyed this episode. I hope y'all remember the deal that we made at the beginning. If you did like the content and you haven't liked it already, go ahead and leave it a like. If you didn't, we did make a deal. You can not go ahead and unlike it. I don't know what you thought you. No, 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 no. You gonna leave that like on there. But I want to give a special thank you to my co-host Ice for coming on today, and I'm gonna let him go ahead and take us out.
All right, people. Hey, it's been great. Enjoyed chatting with y'all. I appreciate you guys. Appreciate, Neff for having me on. You will see me back, right? So be ready. We'll discover, we'll talk, and that's it for now.